ಸ್ಟಡಿ ವಿತ್ ಪರಶುರಾಮ್ಗೆ ಸ್ವಾಗತ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇಂದಿನ ವಿಡಿಯೋದಲ್ಲಿ ನಾನು SSLC ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಲ್ಯಾಂಗ್ವೇಜ್ ಇಂಗ್ಲೀಷ್ನಲ್ಲಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಪೋಯಮ್ ಇದೆ ಗ್ರ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ಮಾ ಕ್ಲೈಮ್ಸ್ ಅ ಟ್ರೀ ಅಂತಕ್ಕಂಥದ್ದು. ಈ ಒಂದು ಪದ್ಯಪಾಠದ ಕಂಪ್ಲೀಟ್ ಆಗಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಆನ್ಸರನ್ನು ತಂದಿದ್ದೀನಿ. ಆಲ್ರೆಡಿ ನಾವು SSLCಗೆ ಎಲ್ಲ ಪಾಠದ ವಿಷಯಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ವಿಡಿಯೋಗಳನ್ನು ಪೋಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀವಿ. ಡಿಸ್ಕ್ರಿಪ್ಷನ್ ಬಾಕ್ಸನ್ನು ನೋಡ್ಕೊಡ್ರಿ. ಸೊ ಆಯಾತ್ ವಿಷಯವಾರು ವಿಡಿಯೋಗಳನ್ನು ನೋಡಿ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ಸ್ಟಡಿ ಮಾಡಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ನಿಮ್ಮ DSCRT ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಬ್ಯಾಂಕ್ನ ಕೀ ಆನ್ಸರ್ಗೆ ಸಹಿತನೂ ಕೂಡ ವಿಡಿಯೋಗಳು ಬರ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾವೆ. ತುಂಬ ಮೋಸ್ಟ್ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ನೋಡ್ಕೊಡ್ರಿ. ಸೊ ಗ್ರ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ಮಾ ಕ್ಲೈಮ್ಸ್ ಅ ಟ್ರೀ ಈ ಒಂದು ಪದ್ಯಪಾಠದ ಎಕ್ಸರ್ಸೈಸಲ್ಲಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಕಂಪ್ಲೀಟ್ ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಆನ್ಸರನ್ನು ನೋಡುವ. ಲೈಕ್, ಶೇರ್ ಮತ್ತು ಸಬ್ಸ್ಕ್ರೈಬ್ ಮಾಡೋದನ್ನು ಮಾತ್ರ ಮರೆಯದಿರಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ವಿಡಿಯೋವನ್ನು ಶುರು ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ. ಕ್ವಶನ್ಸ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಆನ್ಸರ್ಸ್. ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಒನ್, ದ ಸ್ಪೀಕರ್ ಇನ್ ದ ಪೋಯಮ್ ಡಸ್ ನಾಟ್ ಕಾಲ್ ಹೀಸ್ ಗ್ರ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ಮದರ್ ಚೈಲ್ಡಿಶ್. ವಾಟ್ ಎಲ್ಸ್ ವಾಟ್ ಸಿ ಅಕಾರ್ಡಿಂಗ್ ಟು ಹಿಮ್? ವೈ ಡಸ್ ಹಿ ಕನ್ಸಿಡರ್ಡ್ ಹರ್ ಟು ಬಿ ಸೊ? So the answer is, according to the poet, his grandmother was a genius. She was full of liveliness and she could climb trees quickly even at the age of 62 is the right answer. Move to next question. Yes, grandma had been the habit of climbing tree for a very long period. Identify the lines that suggest this anta kelidru. So the answer is, the lines, ever since childhood she had this gift and having learned to climb from a loving brother when she was 6 suggest that. Next question, what at the line 7 and 8 she would be told dash, who do you think what would tell her so? So the answer is, I think her son and her well-wishers told her so is the right one. Move to fourth one. Do you find anything odd in the reply given by the grandpa? If so, why do you think it's so odd? Answer. The reply given by the grandmother seems odd as she laughed and said that she would grow disgracefully and she could do it better is the answer. Next question. Others had feared that Granny would fall from a tree one day or the other. Did this happen or did something else happen? Line 15 to 18 anta kelidru. So the answer is no. Granny never fell from the tree. But when Granny was in the town, she climbed the tree and could not come down is the answer. Sixth one, what had the doctor recommended? What was the reaction of the kids to this advice? Answer, the doctor recommended Granny a week's rest. The kids sighed with relief and tucked is the answer. Move to seventh question. Quote the lines which suggest how wholeheartedly Granny enjoyed climbing a tree ಅಂತಕ್ಕದನ್ನ ಕೇಳಿದ್ರು. So the answer ಏನಾಗ್ತದಪ್ಪ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ, the lines of happier in the tree than in the lift is the answer. Move to eighth question. My dad knew his duties. What did he think his duty was ಅಂತ ಕೇಳಿದ್ರು. So the very simple answer is, the poet's father thought that his duty was to build a fine house for his mother on the tree top. He started making preparations for it quickly is the answer. Next question 9. Look at the picture given below the title. Quote the lines that might have guided the artist to draw anta kelidru. So the answer is, made her a tree house with windows and a door, so Granny moved up and now every day might have guided the artist to draw pictures anta ittu. Next portion, read and appreciate anta kelidare. So first question, read the poem again. Does the behavior of grandma strike you as unusual? If so, support your view quoting her ways and responses to others. One is done of you ಅಂತ ಕೇಳಿದ್ರು. ಗ್ರ್ಯಾಂಡ್ಮಾ ಕ್ಲೈಮ್ಸ್ ಅ ಟ್ರೀ ಅಂತ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನು ಬರಿಬೇಕಂದ್ರೆ, ಸಿ ವುಡ್ ನೆಗ್ಲೆಕ್ಟ್ ಅದರ್ಸ್ ಅಡ್ವೈಸ್. ಇನ್ ದ ಟೌನ್ ಟು ಶಿ ಕ್ಲೈಮ್ಡ್ ಅ ಟ್ರೀ ಥ್ರೋ ಹಿ ಕುಡ್ ನಾಟ್ ಕಮ್ ಡೌನ್ ಈಸ್ ದಿ ಆನ್ಸರ್. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಒನ್, ಗ್ರೋವಿಂಗ್ ಓಲ್ಡ್ ಗ್ರೇಸ್ಫುಲಿ ಈಸ್ ಆನ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ರೆಷನ್ ಯೂಸ್ಡ್ ಇನ್ ದಿ ಪೋಯಮ್. ಡಿಸ್ಕಸ್ ವಿತ್ ಯುವರ್ ಪಾರ್ಟ್ನರ್ ವೆದರ್ ವಾಟ್ ದ ಗ್ರ್ಯಾಂಡ್ಮಾ ವಾಸ್ ಗ್ರೇಸ್ಫುಲ್ ಆರ್ ಅದರ್ವೈಸ್. ಆನ್ಸರ್, what the grandma did was not graceful. When others told her to behave gracefully, she laughed and said she would grow disgracefully is the answer. Move to second question. Both the narrator and his father were very considerate towards grandma. Substantiate the statement with textual report ಅಂತ ಕೇಳಿದ್ರು. ಸೊ ಏನು ಬರಿಬೇಕಂದ್ರೆ, Both the poet and his father were considerate towards Granny. The poet praises his grandmother, saying that she was a genius. He had also said with relief when the doctor advised Grandma a week's bed rest. The son too was very considerate towards his mother, as he was eager to fulfill his mother's desires and starts building a house for her at the tree top ಅಂತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಬರೆದ್ರೆ ಸಾಕು. ಮುಂದಿನ ಕ್ವಶನ್ 4 ಅಲ್ಲಿ. ಎಸ್, if you were to divide the entire poem into two parts, which line would you pick up to be the beginning of the second part? Why? Answer: the second part would begin with after the rescue. The former part of the poem tells us about the grandma's adventure in the town. She climbed tree, but she could not get down. One can imagine that the story of the grandma ends here, but it continues. In a B portion ಇರತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಇತ್ತು, ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಅ ಕ್ಲೋಸ್ ಲುಕ್ ಎಟ್ ದ ರೈಮ್ ಸೀಮ್, ರೈಟ್ ಅಟ್ ಲೀಸ್ಟ್ 5 pairs ಆಫ್ ದ ರೈಮಿಂಗ್ ವರ್ಡ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಕೇಳಿದರು. ಗಿಫ್ಟ್ ಲಿಫ್ಟ್, ಟೋಲ್ಡ್ ಓಲ್ಡ್, ಆಲ್ ಫಾಲ್, ವೆಲ್ ಹೆಲ್, ಸ್ಟ್ರಾಂಗರ್ ಲಾಂಗರ್, ಟೌನ್ ಡೌನ್ ಈಸ್ ದಿ ಆನ್ಸರ್. Second one, it was like a brief season, name the figure of speech in the sentence. What are the two things compared? Explain anta kelidru. Simile is the answer. Here the grandma's rest for a week is compared to a season in hell. Even a short season in hell is terrible and horrible. For the grandma, resting in bed for a week is as good as suffering in the hell is the answer. Third one, for being happier in a tree than in a lift, what is suggested through this line? So the answer is grandma loved climbing trees than traveling by lifts. She had a fascination for nature in contrast to artificiality is the answer. Fourthly, there was not a tree. She had not been up is an expression. Rewrite the above sentence without using not anta kelidru. So the answer is there was neither a tree nor she was up. She is neither good nor bad. She neither drink tea nor coffee is the answer ಅಂತ ಬರೆದ್ರೆ ಸಾಕು. ಇಷ್ಟಿತ್ತು ಗ್ರ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ಮಾ ಕ್ಲೈಮ್ಸ್ ಅ ಟ್ರೀ ಅಂತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಪದ್ಯದ ಕಂಪ್ಲೀಟ್ ಆಗಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಕೀ ಆನ್ಸರ್ಸ್. ನಾನು ಸಿಗ್ತೀನಿ ಹೊಸ ವಿಡಿಯೋದಲ್ಲಿ. ವಿಡಿಯೋ ವಾಚ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಕ್ಕೆ ಧನ್ಯವಾದಗಳು. ಬಾಯ್. ಸೊ